Everyone, I'm Allison. Thank you for joining me for Where I'm From 218 with Jennifer. Um, I read this book, Frederick Bachman, My Friends. Um, if you like him, you'll like it. And then I just wanted to hold up this book, The Loss of a Lifetime, that I co-edited with Lynn Shattuck, because it is Worldwide Grieving Bereaved Siblings Month. Sorry, Worldwide Bereaved Siblings Month. It's been a mouthful. And this is a book about sibling loss. And Jennifer, who's about to join me, is in it with her essay. And Megan, who joined me last week, is in it. So I just thought I would hold it up and celebrate it because I'm very proud of it. And I have been very moved by the reviews on Amazon and Goodreads about it. Creating or co-editing this book with Lynn is a highlight for me because it's a book that I wish I had had. And I'm grateful I have it now because working on it and reading the essays and getting to know all of these contributors has changed my life. Hey, Lynn, I was just holding up the book we co-edited because it felt appropriate considering Jennifer is here today and Megan was here last. I'm reading, which I very briefly did. I read this. Um, but I also wanted to just hold this up because I'm so proud of it. And it is Worldwide Bereaved Siblings Month. I think that's what it is. And Jennifer, I am inviting you, and I know you tried to join, and I said yes. So we'll just keep trying. Hopefully you're on your phone because I don't think it works otherwise. If not, if it doesn't work in a minute, we'll just try again and it'll work eventually. So that's what it's about. Okay, I tried a bunch more time. So are you on your phone? It says because it says you're unable to join, is which so that sometimes means that a person's not on the phone. I accepted your request. I will in a minute start over. Oh, hey, just when I was about to start over. Hi. No need to apologize. Instagram just does weird things. That's what it does. And Lynn's here with us. Hello, Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
And I'm sure you saw us holding up our book because I felt like, well,
Aw,
Megan was here last week and you're here this week, and it just feels like so. It's lovely to see you.
it's good to see you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
for.
how do you think about this month? I don't really think about this month per se. This is like the month for sibling loss. I just was like, well,
I didn't know we had a month. Um,
me neither.
we are, October is our month because that's the month that we lost my brother.
Mm,
So that's definitely the season.
mm,
Um, and then I have a lot of memories of this time of year, the first,
mhm.
second year that made those seasons hard, the holidays. Um, But we've now replaced all those memories. Well, not replaced them, but my youngest daughter has an August birthday. I have October. My oldest daughter was yesterday, and then
Oh
Thanksgiving.
wow.
And now this season is filled with more joy than sadness.
Yeah. I mean, time doesn't heal wounds, but time can certainly, if you are building things that are joyful and it there is space for those once we, I think, feel our grief and live and like there's lots of things to be joyful about.
I think you hit it on the head with that. Um, Part of recovery is filling life with more joy, continuing on and finding those things to make you happy and live your best life so that it's not mired in sadness.
It can feel really hard, I think, especially in acute grief, It's just like, how could I possibly? But I was just saying in my intro, I'm so grateful this book exists because I wish I could have had a book like this to see people who've lived with it longer than me. and to see where they are, and that and that feeling the sadness and the grief is essential. Like it's not going anywhere, it'll wait. And that in the end, that's where like the relief is feeling the grief and having community and having joy and having, I don't know, all these things. I did not prepare comments, as you can tell. I was just thinking about it because this is how we know each other.
Yeah, well, and it's so beautiful how you brought all these writers together that, as you know, the first time I saw everyone was overwhelmed that there were people who recognized my experience and
Mhm.
who knew it more than anybody else
Mhm.
has in my life.
Yeah,
Um, that has been a gift to have as well, to see people
same.
who understand.
Hmm. Yeah.
Ah, so thank you for that.
Thank you. I mean, it was unexpected. It just was something that, Lynn has been working on for a long time, and I was grateful to have our paths cross because it changed my life. Thanks, Lynn.
Yeah, me too.
Um, so is there anything else you'd like to say before you read your poem? Anything you'd like to say about Chris or anything at all?
Hmm. You know, it was interesting celebrating my daughter last night. I got to read this to my family,
Oh.
and it's only my parents who understand every line of this poem. I miss having my history help me. It was
Mhm.
hard to write because I feel like I've forgotten a lot
Mhm.
of time. So many memories have slipped away. And I think part of that is not having that other person to talk to them about. The memories haven't stayed alive
Yeah.
as much would had he been here to
Mhm.
remember all the names and talk about the memories. So I found I struggled a little bit with this to
Mhm.
bring to mind, but I made it. I made it there. We
You
got to an
did.
end result.
You definitely did. Yes, it's beautiful.
Should I dive in?
Go for it.
Where I'm From by Jennifer Hilbert Speak. I'm from a B-52 Navigator father in Vietnam for my first 2 years, a grandfather who stood in, and a loving mother who peeled me off the leg of the base commander when I mistook him for my daddy. I'm from the smell of birthday cakes baking, secondhand smoke commingled with freshly poured Diet Coke, incense at church, and mom's Chanel perfume on date nights with dad. I'm from the sight of a sparkly Christmas tree, the emptiness of a Dorothy Hamill haircut, a snow globe view in a cabin during a snowstorm, and the stand-up fur of a keeshond. I'm from the feeling of cozy sleeping bags in the back of a station wagon, the shock of an ice-cold lake on water skiing mornings, the tightness of wearing a gas mask for fun at dad's work, and the rumble of a big wheel. From the taste of smoky Cornell barbecue chicken, homemade Christmas fudge, the plastic of a new retainer, and warm custard made with love on sick days. And from the sounds of Elvis, my Garfunkel, the Statler Brothers, heated dinner debates, and Forever Young playing at my brother's graduation, and then his funeral, and then the grocery store. And from a family of four, they became a family of three. And from a brother who was my best friend to now an only child. And from a youth that ended in devastation and an adulthood that started with a chronic fear of loss and an expectation that life can and will change in an instant. And from fights, giggles, bossiness, pride, irritation, love, and fading memories. Thank
Yeah.
you.
What was that? You didn't cry. I'm very impressed.
I did last night, but I
I think I would have cried, especially the Forever Young. Wow, it's such a powerful. I, I just speaks to me because I just called to say I love you was my song that makes me think of Michael, and it is funny how it is on at the grocery, like, and you're not prepared for it to be on the grocery store or anywhere, and yet it is. And
My family believes in signs.
mm,
We kind of lent on that belief from the beginning of this experience with him.
yeah.
And once a month, I volunteer with our local SPCA, and we have a pet mobile that goes out into our community. And we were sitting outside of Whole Foods. This was the week that I got the Loss of a Lifetime books in the mail,
Mm.
and the dang song came on outside.
Yeah.
I, I kind of looked around like, you've got to be kidding me. Of all times, for
Mhm.
still playing at the grocery store.
Yeah.
But I laughed instead of cried, and I
Yeah.
thought, but you like it. You must like the book. This is the sign that you are here and happy that I did it and proud of me. So that was the last time I heard it. It was just not that long ago, but
Mhm.
good sign.
That is a good sign. I don't know if you were on the call where we were talking about, I think you were, how it feels like there's angels, that all of our siblings are these angels, and they are, I think, happy and uh proud. So,
Yeah, so many little things that happen that,
hmm
right or wrong, attribute to him.
hmm yeah. And there were so many parts of your poem that my mom also wore Chanel. I don't know if yours was Chanel number 5, but mine was, and it's in my poem. Um, um, and then the Dorothy Hamill haircut made me laugh. Was it not all you hoped it would be?
I remember for that, and it's family lore at this point. Like my mother, such an amazing mom, but she will never live down there. Like the hair has been long. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, it was not a good haircut, but
Not
it was the at that moment it was very in vogue or whatever. I mean, people wanted it. It's so funny. I think it looked great on her, and it looked really wonderful when she was ice skating.
yeah.
But the rest of us were not ice skating.
No, didn't have the face for it. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that made me laugh. And that, yeah, just so much of it. I was like, oh yeah, that Chanel and retainers and the music and the food. And I I can totally relate to feeling like you wish you had more memories. I think a lot of people feel that way regardless of the way that they grew up or what happened. And listening to people's poems has actually helped me because it's like, oh yeah, that, which is a real side benefit that I would have never imagined. But it's very like, sorry, apparently I didn't turn my notifications off. I it's a it's such a sweet surprise to be reminded of things when I have some sadness about like, oh, I should remember more. So maybe you'll have that experience because it is like, oh, yeah, because so many of us had similar experiences even though we were so far apart.
Right. Well, I was watching one of your podcasts from a few months ago where I understand you rewrite this poem once a year.
Yeah. It's coming up in January. Yikes.
Yeah, I would love to go to my parents' house, go through more family photo albums.
Yeah.
That might bring up more memories, and the poem would evolve over time,
Mhm.
change, and it's hard to
Yeah.
keep him alive, especially with my husband and children who didn't know him.
Mhm.
So I have to draw on things. So this was a great experience for them to get to hear these things from my childhood last night.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and
And I think in a way it's an invitation. The prompt really works as kind of it kind of opens that door or that portal to allow things to show up because I think because it's sensory and it's coming at it from a different angle. Because if somebody says to you, "What do you remember of your childhood?" You're like, "I don't."
right,
It's too much. It's like intimidating, where this is if I don't know, I feel like I'm sitting down and with a friend and like discussing or talking about little things that meant something to us. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, yeah, I who knows what it'll be this year. But I'm glad I do it, but then I'm always a little intimidated by it. But I think that's really valuable because then I know what it's like to be a guest. I'm reminded.
And is it always about your childhood? Or
Well, it has been, and I wonder if I'll not as much. I don't know. Last year, I really had like, oh, I want to focus on like happy. I wanted it to be more of a happy, and it was hilarious because it was not. It was like a real crap time. The fires, the inauguration, like it was tough. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to um but there are a lot of happy moments and obviously like all the beauty that surrounded all of us, many of us, and there always are good things, but it's sometimes those I don't know, they aren't the ones that come straight to the surface. So
yeah,
um
it's interesting. One of the inspirations for my poem was my daughter baking some cupcakes this summer, and the smell of that
mm,
hot yellow cake mix permeating the house just took me back to birthdays in our house growing up and how that smell just indicated something so special was going to happen,
mm,
excitement in the air because of that smell. So I think that's why I had to take the approach of my senses because that's how
mm,
I remember things uh,
mm,
most. And that smell was what started it.
mm.
I wish I could keep saying,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure there's some candle you can light, which I does not work for me, but it does for other people. For me, it's like, oh God, that's a lot. I can't do that much. But I love it when I don't think of myself as being triggered by smells, but then something that I don't like, I traveled to Northern California a couple of years ago and something was in bloom that I was like, oh, this smell is so like I remember when I would come up here as a kid, this specific smell of, and it was really powerful. So it does work, but I'm not as aware of it. So then when it does, it's kind of a sweet surprise.
yeah. And it's also pictures.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
do this thing every year. I make a photo album of my family's year,
Oh yeah.
building 2024. There are 923 pictures in
Yeah.
for 2024.
Yeah.
I don't think there were 923 pictures taken of my entire childhood and early
Mm-mm.
before I had children.
No.
And I think my children's memories will be so much stronger
Mm.
because of this. And they're put in the context of the events and the friends
Mm.
things. And I wish I had more of that. I wish I had more video of Chris. I wish I had
Mm.
just more of those tangible physical things used to remember. But we didn't do that back then. We didn't haul around these little cameras in our pictures.
No.
Yeah.
No. And it was such a like thing. I mean, it's just funny. My husband and I joke about like how you're like, oh, Christmas, like how some years it'll literally be like Christmas. That's what happened that year was Christmas.
Right.
And we just had, it felt like it had to be special, like
Mm-hmm.
because of it was film and you had to carry the camera and like it had to be special. And obviously now it's just completely pedestrian. We all take pictures of everything. But yeah, back then it felt this like, oh, it's got to be special. And lots of times that was Christmas, which isn't even that visually interesting,
No.
honestly. Um, but it was special.
And
So
pictures, people had their eyes closed and got
I know.
caught. It came down to like 10 pictures off the roll that were kept, and
Mhm.
now they're fading or in some sticky
Mhm.
album deteriorating. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I,
Yeah. And I'm sure you wish you had more of, yeah, obviously of Chris and yeah, because there aren't even that many of Michael. And even just of anything like if somebody, who was it? Oh, Michelle from I don't know if you saw this, but someone sent her a picture of her brother after she posted her essay and it was a picture she'd never seen of him before. And
mm,
I was like, that's the dream, right? That she was just really obviously very moved by it. And I feel that way about any picture I haven't seen of really myself or anyone I love, or because from back in that time, because it feels so finite, the images that exist. And if you add one, that's like adding a percentage. Like you say, there aren't even 900. So if you add one, it's like, oh, that's 1% more pictures than there were before.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
had experience a number of years on Facebook. One of Chris's friends posted a picture of,
Mm,
and I hadn't seen it before.
mm,
He made his social media debut. I actually was so taken back by it. I had to really sit and process it because it
mm.
reminded me that other people had a part of him.
Yeah.
And I think afterwards you tend to take it in so much just within your own family.
Yeah.
Everybody else moves on so much more than I think our own
Yeah.
family can. We live with this. He's absent at the Christmas dinner table.
Mhm.
He's, he wasn't there when my kids were born. There's so many things that his loss becomes so much just ours. I forget that there are others around us.
Mhm.
And so I had to balance the joy of seeing a new picture of him with, oh, someone else feels
Mhm.
that ownership of this image and him. It was a little jarring.
Mhm. I mean, I can't. Michael died in 1984, so I can't even imagine that scenario. But yeah, I'm sure it would be jarring. Um, and both Ona in her memoir and Judy in her memoir, they talk about meeting people who knew their sisters. And Judy, she knew the people too, but hadn't seen them in years, and just kind of hearing their memories or their reflections. And um, yeah, I thought it was really emotional reading those passages, and because they do live on in other people as well, but you don't necessarily know. I mean, in what way, or even who, for me, who necessarily.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
so yeah.
The friends are, you know, we're not in touch with, but
Yeah.
it's out there. He's
Yeah. Yeah.
out there.
That
You know.
must have been really surreal having that pop up on your Facebook feed.
Yeah, yeah. And it felt very brave to put his picture out there most recently. Um,
Hmm.
it took a lot. I'm not a social media person. I don't share
Hmm.
on there. And this felt like one of the bravest things to do was to put his image out there. And the reaction was so positive, and so many people were glad to see him and hadn't seen him and missed him. The reaction was really positive. Return. Um, so I guess and writing this book has been, or writing the essay in this book has been interesting because it has put him back into the conversation, people in my life. And that's been good. That's been a joyful thing.
I'm so glad. I mean that I know that means a lot to both Len and I, that people who contributed felt like it was a positive experience, that it was worth, because it is very vulnerable, and yeah, I mean it's not easy to write about.
Yeah. I think I shared with both of you at one point. I had a friend, a very, very close friend, who wrote me a note and said, I feel like I know you so much better.
Yeah.
And that really showed how much I was exposing a part of myself that I don't normally talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really, what a sweet friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a powerful note.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, well, anything else? This has been lovely. Thank you for sharing your poem and sharing Chris with us and the book and your writing. And thank you.
Thank you for the whole journey. I would never have guessed to that somewhere along my journey I would have been in a book, on a podcast, not in the playing cards. So thank you. Thank you to both you and Lynn for the opportunity, for the invitation. I know that I was a reluctant one at first and took my dang time putting it all together. but I appreciate your patience with me. And again, the conversation, both in preparing for the book and afterwards, and then today. Thank you. I appreciate the kinship.
Thank you. I'm so glad that Lynn brought us together.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Well, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.